Right. The first thing I just want everybody to take the PMPOK. So this is an acronym called Project Management Body of Knowledge. Right. So Project Management Body of Knowledge. Right. So it's a book actually. The current version is the seventh edition, 2021. So it's a wonderful book. You can take a look at that like in our free time. It's a very wonderful book written on project management, and in fact, people call this as a standard project management standard. Right? If you go to any consultant, project management consultancy, they're gonna tell you about this project management body of knowledge. Like it's kind of a guidelines that it's followed universally nowadays. And then people, very specifically interested in this PMP certification, just the project management professional certification. And this is valid for 3 years only. So because the technology changes, so it cannot be a lifetime certification. So after 3 years, you can renew your certification uh, to appear, gain much advantage. And you have to write a exam to get this project management professional certification, right? So generally, you should know about PMI, which is Project Management Institute. It's a governing body that certifies the professionals, like the PMP certification or something. Right? We can take a look at this in .pmi.org. Right. So this is the website. You can probably take a look at that. You know, it's a project management. Body. Let's take a look at that also. Like this. We take a look at that. I'll unshare the document and I'll. Yeah. So all of you could able to see this, right? The Project Management Institute. It's called PMI. It is like PMI training formally. There's all these things like they do training as well, and you can even get membership, right? So if you get membership, your exam fee, the certification fee will be lesser or discounted than compared to non-members. You can, even though you are not member of this, you can take this certification. But for members, it's just in the discount price. So you can talk about becoming a member, and there are student membership also. Like most of you are in, probably in your second year, and stuff like you can take, you know, membership certification, and it just you can see it is just like 2,471 rupees, Indian rupee, and there is a statistics say that like 20 percentage of the salary hike will be for the people who have got PMP certification, provided you work in a project management consultant, right? So that's the statistics, and you can see this is what we call process, and then you can see project management professional. This is what you get actually, and you can also get associate in project management also. I mean certified associate in project management cap or PMI risk management professionals. So we'll just take a look at all these certifications, then we'll get into the core idea. We'll talk about the agile certification, other related, the Scrum Master and stuff like in the next class. But for this, thing, like take a look at the project management professionals. This is certification. It's a generic project management certification, and here is also associate in project management, right? And here are some of the things that are much, modern thing like business analysis, and then like program management. We'll talk about this a little later. The difference between project management, program management, and portfolio management. All these things are a little different, but understand the nomenclature. PMP is project management professionals. PG stands for program, and PF stands for management. And this is pretty much, we have seen the risk management in a couple of lectures earlier. There's a certification for risk management professional as well, like they call RMP. Then scheduling you will get into this PMI scheduling professionals, and then PMI project management ready. Right, this is high school and post secondary students, and probably it may not be applicable to you because you're in the engineering degree, so completed your high school level and something like that, right? And then like agile and other certifications we'll talk about later, right? So you can they also offer online courses and PMI training and like seminar world register thing and webinars and academic programs and or authorized training partners. Like let's take a look at some authorized training. We can PDUs the course. It's considered to be the university credits as well. Like so, 60 PDU are required to become a project management professional. And exam preparations, like with instructors, like something like you can prepare for the exam and exam content outline. So that was very important for you. So I'll just spend some time on this, so that'll be easy for you. It talks about people, process, business environment, and it says 180 questions. It's online. Now they have reduced 20 questions. Earlier it was 200, and the completion time is 230 minutes. And this is you can download this like exam content online. We can show you some of the contents. Right, so the exam is online, and it costs around like 10,000 rupees to 15,000 rupees in an Indian currency, like 400 to $550, and $404 for members, and for non-members is $550. You can convert that into Indian rupee, and you can probably take it. So this is project management professional. It's pretty recent, January 2021. So the talks about the exam update and something like that. Very important thing is like the domain, people, process, business environment. We'll talk about that in detail in today's lecture. And then like you should know about all these aspects. That's what they given here. And then like people is 42 percentage criterion, and the skills you need to know is managing conflict, lead a team, and support team performance and so on. So this was something like about people management. And then process is 50 percentage. It is like executing project with urgency and something like that. So that's why project management professionals are paid higher. So they were experienced or they are given you know um, the they have the knowledge to perform these tasks. But these are something like people acquire over years of time because of their experience. But PMP professionals know about these things before they get into the actual real world project management strategy. And business environment is just 8%, like you talk about the delivering project benefits and values and so on. So this is something like that. And you should have a project management experience to appear for this, like minimum 5 years or 60 months, unique or non-overlapping projects. Or this is very important, 4-year bachelor's degree. Probably civil engineering, I've got 4 years bachelor's degree. And if not, only this matters. Like so, if you have this, then you can appear for that. Or bachelor's or postgraduate degree from accredited programs. Like that's remember I told you about the PDUs, like 60 PDUs. If you enrolled in any foreign universities, some courses can be directly related to that, provided you take the management course, like the construction management or something like that. So in that case, you'll be given a chance to take up this particular exam. And as I told you, PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge, and there's a guide actually. So that defines many things related to project management, something like that. And all these things like how you submit your documents and payments and something like that. So this is not necessary. And you can have a certification fee, which is PMP certification, and information like something a number of you know score and then pretest and score questions. In total, is 180. 230 minutes is the time. So you can even retake this exam, like in case you're not qualified, right? Okay, then. So that's all about project management. Go back to this thing. But it's a little expensive, project management course. I try to cover most of the content of this particular course in the construction management course that we currently enrolled in, right? So that you don't have to spend much time in finding the tutorials or something like that, right? So that's it. So we have seen what is project management body of knowledge and project management professional certification, then project management institute. Let's take a look at some of the terminologies which is related to project management. I call project management as generally PM, right? So first thing is project. So project is a temporary definite start and end. So as a famous definition on project management is the temporary endeavor, which is task or an event with a definite start and end time. So that's what we call a project. The next is called process. This is little different, like label them as number two. The process is actually also do have a definite, period of time, but it is more of a event oriented. So which means that, for example, boiler operations and any example on processes baking. So those things are not project; those are like process. Whereas for project, it is like construction of bridges. So it's a product that we deliver, or even a process we deliver that could be a project. Say, for example, uh, you know, or you can even say we talk about building, IoT devices or uh, a food safety or something like that, right? So this is something a project, whereas baking is a process, whereas doing something to the food industry or you can even call industry or something like that, that is something called a project. Like it has a definite start and end period. Whereas like the boiler operations, like baking or even cement, manufacturing, it's a process, not a project, right? Something like that. So now you understand what is a project and a process. Like it could be either one or the other. So it can't be both. Like could be either categorized as project or process. All right. So next is the program. So what does this program does is it is a set of project or processes. So it is the you know it is the holistic perspective. So number of projects put together in a basket is called program. Or mathematically you can write PG equals to project 1, project 2, and it goes on project N. Number of projects put together, and that is what we call a program, right? So it's a bigger term, but portfolio is the ultimate term. It is the number of programs, as they have mentioned as PF equals to PG1, PG2, program 1, program 2, and so on. Right? So you can make it a subscript. Right. Say. Right. So you can see portfolio is the entire big thing. Right. If you are very familiar with digital design or something like the graphic design perspective, then they call something called a portfolio. So they have a file where in which they have got all the designs they have made or the illustrations they have made or something like that. So those things are called portfolio. And in project management terminology, it is the set of all programs. Program itself is the set of all projects. So it means like it is a very final thing. Like it's a very big thing. Like or you can even represent this in terms of programs. In terms of programs, you can see this program which comprises of this PG1 and PG2 consists of different projects. And PGN can call it intermediate stuff. Like this, you can see, right? So it's engulfed programs and invariably different projects. So it's a very big thing or final thing. So we generally don't do a portfolio kind of things in academic perspective because it requires a lot of understanding of program. Program itself, like it's pretty big, got multiple projects. It could be same it could be in the same location or in a multiple location. So it's just a different project altogether, right? So that's it. Like so, those things are some of the important terminologies project management. Right. So next we'll get into some of the PMI concepts like project management professional stuff. Related to PMP, project management professionals. Right. Let's take a quick look at these things. The first is integration management. The next is called scope management. And the next is called time management and cost management, quality management, human resource management, or in construction, they also call this as construction management and communications management. Not many really look into this. This is very important. This is pretty much important thing. Business analysis, briefing, collaboration, and coordinating. All those comes under this. And risk management. In fact, we have seen that enough in detail. We also take a case study of RMC plan, the different types of risks that could possibly occur, and procurement management. In fact, in the previous class, we talked about IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction Development. So the procurement practice, like the sanction loan, and how do the contractors or the companies or the agencies procure based on the loan. So that things is basically the procurement management. Stakeholders management is business administration. Business administrations and so on. So in fact, if you take a multinational company, a bigger construction company, they'll have a separate set of people for only taking the stakeholders management, right? So they don't involve into engineering or contracting or something, but their prime job is to get the projects and manage the stakeholders, and also both sides, in the client side as well as in the company side. So those are mediators or higher level managers, or basically they are the experienced persons who have done a lot of projects or something, right? So that's what we call stakeholders management. And then very important thing that we need to consider is the code of conduct, right? So that's a professional ethics and something that will be the final thing that you should know about the project management. First is the integration management. We talk about five functions of management, like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So integration is mostly the final few functions of management. They look into monitoring, controlling, or you can even say directing, controlling. So they perform this particular task. Their prime job is to monitor, direct, and control the projects, right? So that's what we call integration management. And people who pursue certification or integration management, they should be very well with the monitoring, even in project management. It's a thing called tracking. In fact, we have not seen that when we discuss Microsoft project. There is a type of Gantt chart called tracking Gantt. So people should be familiar with this tracking Gantt to get the integration management certification. Right. So that is regarding the integration management. The next is scope management. Very important. Where people look into the work breakdown structure, creating the scope of work. They generally call the scope of work, like the planning stage, and also they have to manner in which they are planned. Those are called scope management, right? So people should be familiar with the work breakdown structures and how do they. It's basically the planning stuff, like thing well planned is half done. So that's based on that logic, this particular type of category were developed. Then it's very important thing is time management. So the time management is also equally important. Here they look into the scheduling and resource utilization, which is in terms of time, not in terms of monetary. Monetary will comes under cost management, the next step. So resource utilization, people talk about that. The cost. Here they look into budgeting, financing, accounting, and resource utilization in terms of cost. Very important thing, they also look into the quality of a project, right? So cost management is equally pretty important. Say for example, PMP certification, not everybody gets all the certifications because some they are very much into the, or some they are very much into the, for example, they have a background. So they are very familiar with the costing, or they wanted to pursue a degree or the certification only in costing, they can do. So because if you see each certification itself is pretty much like 10,000 rupee, and this will be more than a lakh rupee or something. 10 courses are there, right? So not many people gets this, and in fact they don't have to spend lakh rupee for 3 years because they only get certification for the work or the type of work they do. That is what they're benefited. Like taking all the programs and studying and getting a certification may not be a very feasible option. But if you're really interested, you can take multiple. People can take scope time management or quality management, time management, right? Something. Then the most important thing, almost neglected in most of the project management stuff is the cost, the quality. So they talk about quality audits, talk about quality assurance and control. So these things are pretty much and very important stuff that you should know about management. One example is the ISO 9000 standard, 9001 standards, and the related standards they'll have to be uh, done in detail. For example, ISO, I think it's 17025. So this is a standard they use for assessing the experimental labs or the laboratories, testing laboratories. So, for example, a cement manufacturing plant. So they should have this. They should follow this standard called 17025. I guess the 17025. It's a NABL, National Board of Accreditation Laboratories. Like so, they will be certifying the quality stuff or something like that. So, which means that if a cement bag that comes with this particular label, then it is the followed quality standards and something. But as quality itself is, qualitative term, like we generally look into the brand nowadays. Like you can have a brand names as well. Remember in the previous lecture we talked about the brand names, the use of brand names and something like that for the procurement. So that gets applicable to quality management as well. And few important things like human resource management. It's all about the people, or in a real sense, it is the personnel involved in the project, right? So that is what basically the human resource management, like the training, construction person management includes. I mean, the human resource management in construction includes first is recruitment, or you can even start from advertising. It's advertising, recruitment, training, and evaluation for their performance. All these things are the key role of the human resource management, or the person who gets the certification. They should be aware of various advertising procedures, different recruitment processes, and training and evaluation, or you can even call that as performance evaluation and something like that. And then not only that, they have to give incentives or benefits. They should know about employees benefits. It's all about employee relations, right? Something like that. So it's basically called employee relation, which is one of the key factor in the human resource management. And let's talk about few other things like communications management, in which the business analysis, briefing, the collaboration, or something like that. Now there's a term called work sharing. So even if you take Autodesk Revit, they have the work sharing thing, which means that earlier the design drawings and construction drawings are two separate entity. Now it's all unified entity. So unified entity, when which the all the people works on the same platform, and then they work across something like that. Say for example, there are different things like one is called view, download, edit, or download, upload, or you can even call upload as modify, very important as delete, right? So these are different things that gets done in the work sharing, right? But the access is not all the access are not given to all the people. Say for example, like the draftsman. Okay. So the draftsman, right? So he'll be given only view and download, something like that, no? Or you can even given upload or revision also, because he's a draftsman, right? Say a trainee or site engineer, he will be given only view and download, so he cannot do any changes or something. And like the manager, project manager generally, he'll be given view, upload, and revision, or even modify. Be given these privileges in a communication, and then the top manager or the stakeholders, the owner generally, will be given all the options like will delete the file, because it's his responsibility if he deletes, because it's his own project, so he may not do that. But if it is like site engineers were given like delete, if they delete, it will be a disaster to the entire project. So all these things are work sharing quite sometimes, or sometimes they skip in between also. Like manager, they don't upload and revise, they can be given an delete option. They can reprimand the not professional document, so they can send it to the people after deleting it, something. So that's how it is generally the communication happens nowadays in the work sharing environment or the virtual environment, right? So this is something that you should know. And then risk management, I talk about this in enough detail. Talks about the quantification of risks, quantifications of risk, and then risk uh, assess assessment, risk evaluation, and very important thing is risk, right? So they should divert the risk, not reported only. They don't only report, but have to find a measure or solution to divert it, divert that or control that. Then procurement management, it talks about quantity takeoff and estimation, valuation. So that is what they do generally in the procurement management, right? So IBRD is an example. So quantity takeoff, estimation, valuation, and so on. So all those things will be. And stakeholder management, most level in which something like they talk about business administration, then strategy or policy making stuff in the organization or something like that. So that's what basically the stakeholders management, right? So that's the higher level in which they deal with the all the legal terms, legal stuff and something like that. So that's the highest level. So one cannot master in all 10, or there could be another few new concepts, but everyone cannot take certification all those things. But it's all about one's perspective. So if you want to work in the risk management as well as in the scheduling, you can time management and risk management. Or if you want to do communication, that can go together. Taking risk management and communication cannot be something like that, right? So human resource and communication will be a good option, something like that. Right? When they manage people as well as the environment and something like that. Right. So these are the some of the important things about the project management. The next is the code of conduct. The project management not only talks about or process or environment, they also talk about code of conduct. like the ethics and uh, rules or regulations, the guidelines. So all those things, right? So all those things comes under code of conduct. So I think we have covered enough in detail about the project management. So you can even take a look at that whenever you're free.